Open back, yes indeed. I'm excited to show you my sewing process and how I went about making this dress. Make sure you follow my socials at CerinasBoutique, Instagram and TikTok. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I do post more videos, so turn on that notification bell. And yeah, let's get into it. I cut out both the outer fabric, which is the shell, and then the lining, which is the inner fabric. I cut those out, and the interfacing for both bodice pieces. I did cut this garment on the bias, got the colors to match, because that's one thing about satin. You gotta make sure you cut it the same direction, because if you don't cut it the same direction, they'll be like night and day, different colors, different shades, okay? And you don't want that, so make sure they're the exact same, and I did that. So now I'm gonna do is sew that interfacing onto the bodice pieces for both the shell and the lining. And don't mind my jumpsuit looking pretty right there, but yes, I did make that too. This is the lining of the bodice. I did it in gold. And then this is the shell of the bodice, which is a beautiful chocolate brown. It's like a gold and brown theme. It kind of reminds me of like a Reese's peanut butter cup. And I interfaced both the bodice and the lining and the shell. It interfaced on really beautiful, like I sewed it on beautifully, and it is sewn interfacing. And I did that, like I said, on both of these. So now I'm gonna sew this seam, this seam, this seam, and this seam on the shell and the lining, and I'm gonna come back. Here are the darts to my back skirt panel on the shell or the outer layer. And I always draw in the lines for the darts. So I have a line there and I have a line on the other side, and I pin them together. And I just used a white water-soluble fabric marker. But my trick is when I sew this, I backstitch here, of course, but here at the very end, I don't backstitch. I leave the thread tails long, so then I can tie a few knots at the end here, and that's gonna make your dart lay a lot smoother than if you backstitch. So that is my little tip, my little trick, and that is what I'm gonna do now. And I might insert a clip of how the lining looks, but it basically looks the same. Here are the darts completely sewn in. I did my knot at the end trick. So this is the side panel, center back seam. And I'm gonna sew these side panels right sides together on the side seam to the front panel of the skirt. And when I was pattern drafting, I made sure to add this curve in the back, because I feel like that's gonna give me a really contoured waist. It's gonna make my back set, like, look really pretty. It's gonna sit well on my back. So that's why I added this little divot. And then since this dress is backless, I decided not to make it completely backless and show a little bit less skin. So I did add a few inches of that back panel, because I felt like that was gonna be more comfortable to be in than worrying about malfunctions in the dress and like seeing things that shouldn't be seen. Okay, so I sewed the side seams on both the lining and the shell, and these are what the darts look like on the right side of the fabric as well. Look at that, I love the color combo, it is so pretty. Okay, so now I'm gonna open both of these up, and I will be finishing off the seams with my serger on this one, and I'm gonna finish the seams on my bodice as well. I finished the side seams of the skirt, the edges, with my sewing machine, and I also finished the center back seam with my sewing machine, and I finished the seams on the inside of the bodice and the center back seam with my serger. Actually, as you can see there, it's like done with my serger. And then I also connected the bodice and the skirt together and finished that seam right there. And I did this to the lining as well. So now the next step would be to put in the loops and the straps, and I'll show you what that looks like. I also leveled out the bottom here, because when you cut a garment on the bias, it tends to stretch out, so I just made that a straight edge again. Okay, so here are the loops. They look pretty good if you ask me. Basically what I did, so since I'm going to be sewing 5/8 up here to attach the lining, I just put it 7/8 down, just in case, like, to leave room for error. So I went 7/8 down, and then from here to here I decided that I want like a little gap there, so it's like it ends up being 7.5/8 from here to there. to make sure they're all even, and then I measured from here to here, and then I divided it in half, and then put that one there, and then now they're all even. So I don't know if that made any sense, because it barely made sense to me. So, but basically I got them to look even, they look great. And then for the strap, I decided to put it where that side seam is, because it's going to angle towards the neck and then cross at the back to go into the little loopies. So that's why I made it farther away than you normally would put a strap, because you normally put a strap like somewhere around like here. So I just made it farther, so then you can like angle towards the neck and then cross in the back. And I did that on this side as well. So they're even, they look symmetrical, and now the next step is to attach the lining. I apologize for not filming every single step, but I'm gonna run you through what happened. So after I left off by putting these loops in and the straps, I put the lining and the shell right sides together, and I sewed all along here and like up all the way around. Then I turned it back and I proceeded to top stitch, so you can kind of see some top stitching going on there. So I top stitched it all the way around, and then after that I started to put the zipper in. Now with the zipper, there is interfacing on this zipper part that I did not show. So I put like, my zipper is like 9 inches, so I put 10 inches of interfacing, and it was 1 inch thick, and it's running through both sides of the zipper. So I put the zipper on like a normal invisible zipper, then I pulled the lining down over the zipper and I sewed it. There's like videos on YouTube if you want to know how to put a invisible zipper with a lining, and that's basically how I did it. But it created this really pretty look on the inside, and it's like the zipper is encased in there. Super duper beautiful. And yeah, so after I did that, I basically leveled out the hem again because it stretched again. So I really don't know how short this is gonna end up. And then I tried this on, and I hated the side seams. I know hate's a strong word, but it's necessary. So I went in and I slim fitted off the like top half by 5/8 of an inch, and I just kind of slimmed it back to the top and then slimmed it back to the bottom. And yeah, now it kind of fits me better on the side seams. And then I also finished off this center back seam after doing the zipper or whatever. So now what I'm gonna do is finish the hem. I decided to do like a lettuce hem on the bottom, so it's gonna have a lettuce hem. And then when I did try it on, the straps were way too short. Not way too short, but a little bit too short, so I'm gonna make them longer. And yeah, and then I'll come back. I finally finished the rolled hem on my serger. I did a scalloped edge. Now the scalloped edge is a cute moment. She's a moment. But it was not my choice. No, my fabric here is really stretchy because it's cotton the bias, I'm assuming, and also I think it is a stretch material, and it's really thin, and my serger did not like that. So all it would do is crinkle it up, so I decided to embrace it and crinkle it up on purpose to make it look intentional. So that's what I did, and I think it's a cute moment. And then I also did that on the lining. I made sure the lining was shorter than the shell so it doesn't peek through. I also told you that I elongated the straps, and I did, but I was going to stuff this strap into this strap, but my fingers cannot fit in this 1/2 inch strap, so I just kind of closed off the edges by pushing in the strap into itself, and then I just stacked them on top of each other and did a straight stitch. And then at the very end of each strap I did the same thing. I just pushed in the strap and then top stitched it. So that's basically all I did to elongate it and to close those edges. Now my next step is to come up here and put in the little ribbons that would hang this garment up. This is what the loops are looking like, the hanger loops. And I just used gold thread from my favorite thread brand. I never go cheap on thread. I always pay the more expensive price. But then I used a hand needle, and I basically just sewed randomly over and over and over of that strap. So I took 12 inches of ribbon, folded it in half, and then fold that little loop over itself, and then just sewed it down. And I did that on both sides. Now for the last step and the fun step, okay? We got the bling. Yes. So basically it's just rhinestone fringe, and I'm going to be using E6000 glue to glue it all the way around. that neckline, and I have like a whole yard of it too, so I'll have some left over. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. I hope you like this dress and appreciated my process of how I made this. And make sure to follow my socials at CerinasBoutique, Instagram and TikTok, where I post fun videos and pictures of the things I make. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notifications for more videos.